Hello and welcome round to my house. Now, there's a real family feel to today's show because my guests include two of the best-loved members of the ITV family and one of the royal family's favourite singers. We've also got a chef from one of the best Indian family restaurants in Britain, and we're also welcoming a very talented newcomer to the Saturday morning family. So what are we doing out here? Let's get inside and let's get cooking. Morning. Are you coming in then? Good morning, and what a show we got lined up for you today. Today's a good one. Show business legends Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson will be here. Looking forward to that. They'll be dropping by the house very shortly. And also I'll be cooking for Karen Gibson from the incredible Kingdom Choir. They're amazing. Right, you're all welcome to join me on a trip to Jersey on my latest leg of my food adventures. Chefs James Cochran will be here, and Saturday morning regular Dipna Anand as well. She's back. They'll be sharing some recipes of their own a little bit later. And don't miss this week's little masterclass when I'll be giving you a step-by-step guide to cooking celeriac. But we're kicking things off today with a dessert. Yes, it's a dessert. It's a chocolate and olive oil delice. It's really simple. I'm going to serve this with a raspberry sorbet with raspberries, but in essence, it's actually very, very simple. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off and make a praline. Because the whole thing about this is textures. It's building up little textures, building up little flavours. But it's textures first of all. So we get the texture from a simple little praline. We can use sugar. So a little bit of sugar. And instantly, we're going to turn this into a caramel. So get the pan nice and hot. And then it's up to you which sort of nuts that you can put in. You can put some hazelnuts, but what I have got are these most amazing almonds. And I'm going to introduce you to the story behind these in a second, but I've got these beautiful almonds like these to flavour our praline. So praline can sometimes be hazelnuts and almonds. It can be just hazelnuts. It can be just almonds, entirely up to you. But what I'm going to do is just chop these up first of all. And it doesn't matter whether we keep the outer casing on the almonds as well. But what you want to do is get this praline cooking into a caramel first, and it'll happen quite quickly in our pan. Now, what you don't want to be doing is overcooking the sugar. If you overcook the sugar, it goes quite bitter. So keep your eye on it. It'll happen quite quickly if you just put the normal raw sugar into a pan. Now, you can slow this down by adding a little bit of water to it, allow the water to evaporate, and then you'll end up with a caramel eventually, but this is a quick version of it as well. It's done exactly the same way, but you want to make sure you get a nice bit of caramelised sugar on here. You can see I'm getting over there. You get this beautiful colour on this, first of all. But the important bit is you need to make sure that all the sugar is dissolved. So as soon as you get the sugar in the pan like that, you can see all the sugar's dissolved. I've got that nice colour, that even colour as well. It's not too dark, which is going to turn it too bitter. But once I get to that stage, and we've got that nice little bit of sugar over there, then we can take our almonds. While the pan's still hot as well, this all goes in. Mix this all together, like that. And then what we do is we just take this over, pop it onto a non-stick mat, like that. So do that, and then just allow that to set. Like that. And then you can chop this up, you can blend it, you can just leave it like that, but that's as simple as that to make a simple little praline. Now, what you do with this is you put water back in the pan and bring it to the boil, and then it'll clean your pan out like that. But just leave that to set to one side. Now, before I get on and do this chocolate mousse, as you know, at about sort of the beginning of the pandemic, we wanted to sort of link you, and that comes from my childhood, really, the amazing producers that we have all around the country. But over the sort of years we've been doing this now, and it has been years, the success from it has been amazing. It really allows you guys at home to interact with the producers that we've got all over the place. And we get so many inquiries about different producers, and this one shone more than anything else. To be honest, I'm so excited about this. This is amazing, because the story behind it is incredible. So hopefully, by the power of the internet, we can go speak to Alex Galden-Hayes from the New Dawn Traders to find out what this is all about, this business, and tell us about these almonds. I'm going to do this chocolate mousse. We've got olive oil over here. We've got white wine. First of all, Alex, thank you for being a part of this show as well.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So tell me the ethos behind this. So just I've told nobody about it yet. You guys bring produce into this country via a special route. Tell me how the idea started and tell me the ethos behind it.
Yes, so I work with sailing vessels and we bring produce over from across the oceans by the power of the wind. And for me, the idea began years ago now, probably around 2007, 2008, when after university, I went and spent time on a farm in Brazil, a cocoa plantation. And yeah, wanting to get away from it all. I was very lucky to be there. But the idea there was that we wanted to sail the cocoa beans back from Brazil to England by sailboat. Very idealistically, just really in love with sailing and travelling and chocolate.
It's combining two things in one, isn't it, really? But, I mean, this sailboat is incredible. We're going to get onto the stuff that you've actually bought one of your own anyway now. But tell me about this chocolate as well. Tell me the story behind this lady who makes the chocolate or the cocoa beans.
Yeah, so what's great about this chocolate is that it's only 2 ingredients. It's the cocoa bean and sugar. And the beans themselves come from Trinidad, and the beans are called. They're a variety called Trinitario beans, which is specific to the island and really sought after for their flavour. So yeah, we were very lucky to get hold of these beans from a local cooperative there, and and they taste incredible.
It tastes them. I mean, there's chocolate and there's chocolate, but this is what. So often with recipes and ingredients, it's almost the ingredients are one thing, but the story behind it's incredible. You read the story on this, but I've used the almonds earlier. Tell us about what we've got in here, because I've got some chocolate melting over here, but we've got some almonds over here. And this sugar, I mean, I don't know what this sugar is. What is this?
Well, it's basically just dehydrated sugarcane juice. So it's the canes cut down, squashed for the juice. They go through these mills to extract all the liquid, and then the liquid is slowly heated over fire, and the fire is fueled by the stalks that are the byproduct of squeezing out all the liquid, and then slowly evaporated until it becomes a paste, and that paste becomes solidifies as it cools, and then it's broken up into sugar. But it's basically sugar without anything removed from it. So it still has the molasses in it and all the minerals and flavours that sort of give it its taste.
Well, I've used the almonds for the praline. I've got over here, the chocolate has been melting. I've added a bit of cream to this. And this is where, olive oil and chocolate are an amazing combination. And if you get really, really good quality olive oil, and we just take a nice little drizzle. And you can only do this with good quality olive oil. Don't use any rapeseed oil or any of that stuff. It's got to be really good quality olive oil. If you mix that together with the chocolate, with the cream, it creates like this little ganache. And I'm going to use that sort of to create these sort of little mousses, these little delices. So you've got the chocolate there that's melted. The cream and the olive oil stop the chocolate from setting rock solid. We mix all that lot together. I'm just going to basically pop that into these little moulds and allow that to set. Now tell everybody about the boat itself. And you've ended up sort of getting your own boat now. So tell everybody about that. And well, how long does it take to bring back particularly something from, the chocolate, for instance? How long would that take to bring it all back to... You bring it back to Falmouth, don't you?
Yes, yeah. So the chocolate from Trinidad to the UK is maybe a month or a couple of months, and the ship also stops in Colombia and Mexico and in the islands. So it's it makes its way over a couple of months. The ships tend to go, well, they have to follow the winds, and the winds take the ships out around November, December time, and they return in the spring.
And what about the crew? I'm assuming you have crew that want to do this and want to do this and give up their time to man the crew. Tell me a story about the crew. And
well, the crew, we tend to have about 12 people on board, and of those, maybe 5 will be professionally trained crew. including the captain, first mate, second mate, bosun, and cook normally. And then the rest are people who can volunteer their time to travel with us.
Can I put a guy called Barry down on our crew? Can we send him on a round trip to Trinidad, if that's all right? We'll come and film it. He gets seasick in a bath, to be honest with you, but we'll come and film it.
That'd be great.
So tell me about the new boat that you bought then, because I'm just going to make these little deletions. You just press the stuff down. So tell us about the new boat you've got coming in May.
Yeah, so it's really exciting to be taking on a ship of our own after years of working with other ships in the industry. And our boat is a 100-year-old Norwegian galleass, which has 2 masts, and it even has a square sail on the front, which is quite unusual. And it will be travelling mainly between Portugal, the UK, France, and Scandinavia. Moving goods about.
Now, I'm just going to take this sort of hockey puck thing, and you melt the edges of it like that, and all you do is you just press it, and it comes out. And then we take that to sort of glaze it up a bit. But that's your beautiful chocolate that you had over. I'm just going to garnish this. I've got in here a puree of raspberries, which you can take that. You can put that on there. And we just pop these on here. And the whole thing about this is just building up little textures. I've got a puree of raspberries as well. That can go on there. And then we've got some of this most amazing praline. That's also going to go on with some fresh fruit. We've got some more raspberries as well. But I wanted to leave this sugar to the very end because I'm going to use some of this sugar. And this sugar is probably one of the nicest ingredients I've ever tasted. It's unbelievable. We're just going to use that as a little base for our sorbet, which is going to sit in there. So, Alex, you're watching this, building it all up. Hopefully I'm doing your produce justice. It's a fascinating story, and please be a part of the show. When you get the new boat in May, we'd love to follow your journey as well. Like I said, if you need an extra member of the crew, we've got a member of the crew here we could do with losing for a couple of months. But that came from his missus, by the way. but yeah, thank you for being a part of this, and best of luck with everything, and we'll see you again on the show very soon. Thank you.
See you again. Goodbye.
Take care. So there you have it, a beautiful little chocolate. I think this does justice to this amazing ingredients over here. But I think you've got a nice little chocolate mousse with a nice little raspberry sorbet with some beautiful almond praline to go with it. Job done. Right, still to come, we've got dishes from chefs Dipna, Anand and James Cochran, and I'll be cooking for the brilliant Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson very shortly, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, I'm hitting the road and heading to the Channel Islands, not by boat, but anyway, by motorbike, on another one of my food adventures. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now there's a masterclass in celeriac coming up, and I'll be treating Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson to a dish of sea bass very shortly. But before that, I thought I'd take a look at some of the dishes you've been cooking at home. These are pretty special, these ones. First up, we've got Garvin Sewell, who made this dish of duck that I served with fondant potatoes and a cherry sauce. How good does that look? But it tasted amazing. A big well done goes to Mariana Kant, who made that tomato soup that I did in a masterclass a few months ago. They're roasted tomatoes in the oven, blended with a little bit of cream, and that's the end result. And finally, Simon Trimmer, just check this out, sent us this picture of a cheesecake that he made at home. But what I love about this, he also sent us a photograph of his new outdoor kitchen that he's built in his garden. The film crew are going to be round there tomorrow. I think that... right, it's time to take a look back at one of my favourite food adventures. This week, I'm saddling up for a two-wheel tour of Jersey with a local chef and good mate of mine, Mark Jordan. Enjoy this one. My adventure continues, and for my next leg, I've left the mainland and headed to the Channel Islands. Jersey, to be precise. The climate here is warm, the land is fertile, and the water crystal clear, making it a farmer's delight. No wonder then, it's teeming with amazing restaurants, one of which is owned by my mate and award-winning chef, Mark Jordan. Mark's a keen biker and has promised to hook me up with some impressive wheels. I can't wait to see what he's got. Oh. Mate, I leave you one thing to do. One thing.
Well, small bikes, small island.
Well, you're a serious biker, though.
I know, but I thought we'd do something different for this time.
Actually, they're good fun.
They're brilliant.
I'm looking forward to this, I have to say, Mark.
You and me both. Shall we,
My official tour guide.
Actually, should we hit the road?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do this.
How quick are these things? It's a good start, isn't it?
I'll never live it down. Let's go.
Man alive. The Channel Islands are an archipelago in the English Channel, and although they're closer to France than the UK, they are British Crown dependencies. Jersey is the largest, and it's renowned for its golden sandy beaches, clifftop trails, and coastal roads. Ideal for an exhilarating spin. Well, as exhilarating as it gets on a bike this size. So what's it like living on Jersey then?
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Because how long have you been here?
15 years now. And it just feels like the first year I moved here.
Do you speak the lingo? Because they've got their own language out here.
No, right, I'm bad enough. I'm from Birmingham. I'm bad enough. And I didn't know anything about it. I just knew of Jersey being Bergerac. So
So tell me about the produce in here then.
Well, when I got to Jersey, I started writing for a local paper.
Right.
And every Saturday, I do an article on a different supplier. The scallop suppliers to the cabbage loaf makers to the oyster fishermen. There's everything.
Right.
Jersey's its own supermarket.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
This island really has it all, but it's probably most famous for its spuds. Right, well, I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to go look for some Jersey Royals. See you in a bit.
See ya.
I'm off to meet William Church from the Royal Jersey Company. They've got no less than 1,800 fields dedicated to growing new potatoes. Why particularly Jersey? Well, I guess because of the weather and a bit of everything.
We've got amazing soil here, so the ground conditions are fantastic. The weather is great, but also the other really important thing about Jersey is you've got a southerly south-southeast aspect, so it's like a wedge of cheese, the island, and it all slopes down to the south-southeast, so you get the early sun. So it's always been, not just for Jersey Royals, but generally for agriculture, you've got the earliest production anywhere in the British Isles.
So can we pick some?
Absolutely, yeah.
Good. I take it you don't do 1,800 fields like this?
No, this will all be machine. But I mean, look at it. It's an amazing crop there. Lots of tubing numbers which you want to see.
Right.
So picking it all off and into the basket.
And there's something magical about Jersey Royals, but particularly digging them up in Jersey.
It's a really exciting time of the year when you go and dig your first spuds, for sure.
It is. Well, you've got a few more to dig as well, so I'll leave you to it. Cheers. Cheers. Thanks. Jersey Royals, fresh from the ground. You can't beat them. And I've got a delicious but rather unusual dish I'm going to use them in. I'm going to make a risotto for this. It sounds really weird. I'm not going to put rice with it, but the potatoes lends itself really well together for this. And it can only be made, I think, with good quality Jersey Royals. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the rice bit of it. And for that, a little bit of knife skills through there. And then dice them up. And you want it sort of small, like that. So we've got our potatoes here. And like all risottos, we're just going to take a touch of shallot and a little bit of garlic just to start it off. Not too much, because I want the flavour of the potatoes to come out, but the same way with shallots, finely dice it, like that. So we take some butter in the pan. You make this like a classic risotto, really. Shallots go in. A little bit of garlic. That's going to go in there. We start that process. And then you've got your potatoes. I'm going to drain these in our sink. Throw the potatoes in. That's it. Start that going. And then next up, I'm going to add some wine. Now, this is local wine. And then, like risottos, it's about the stock. Now, you can use chicken stock, you can use fish stock. I'm going to serve this risotto with a little bit of squid, but I like to use a little bit of chicken stock. It's not as strong as fish stock, so just a touch of chicken stock. You can use veg stock if you want. It's entirely up to you. But pop that in. But the colour of this comes from this next ingredient here. This is squid ink. It's absolutely amazing to use. Not got much flavour, but it really packs a punch in terms of its colour. Now, you can buy this also frozen from supermarkets, but we're going to take some of our squid ink and pop it in there. Now, if you mix all this lot together, then it colours nicely. It's great, that. We just leave it cooking away nicely. Meanwhile, I can prepare our squid. So, when you get squid like this, when you're faced with it whole, like this, and the reason why I'm showing you this, because most of the crew are used to seeing this breadcrumbed in the freezer section, to be honest with you. But look, we just take this off. Now, these little fins we can actually cook as well, so you can peel all this lot off if you wanted to. But there's two parts to the squid, really. This is the body, this is the head end, that's its eyes and everything else, but we just pull this bit out, okay? So then what you can do, there's a little cartilage in here. So this is its like little backbone, I suppose. If you pull this cartilage out, that's what it looks like. All right? So you just get rid of that. Don't go and eat that. Just get rid of it. And then what you can do is just clean the inside of this out. So just get your hands in, pull all the bits out. And then you can take the squid and chop it up into little rings, like that. Now, if you wanted to, you can also take the squid, cut it lengthways, open out that as well, get rid of that. Then we can cut it up into little pieces. And you can do the same thing, that's it, with that one. So you've got nice bits of squid here. Tentacles of it, that's that one, and you've got the tentacles. Give my hands a quick wash. It's the most expensive hand wash I've ever done. Sparkling water from the hotel. So I'm just going to lift this off. Just leave that to one side a little bit, just to rest slightly. Meanwhile, we can cook our squid. So, a little bit of oil. Some salt and pepper. Like that. Over the top. And just straight on the coals. And with this, really, no more than a couple of minutes is all it's going to need. See, this is where I've got a sixth sense with this crew. They're thinking, how can I do that when it's got breadcrumbs on it? Look. So once your squid's ready, we'll just take it off. And that's really important that you don't overcook squid. So remember, it'll actually continue cooking while it's sat on here as well. Try not to do it straight off the barbecue, straight onto the plate, but that sounds pretty good. Now, in this little pan over here, I've got these amazing little pearls, Jersey pearls. These are fabulous. Now, we just take a little bit of the Jersey butter and these pearls and pop them on the heat. And then I've got some of this little rock samphire. That's going to go in there, just to warm them through. You don't need anything else with this. And then we can flavour this now, finish it off like a classic risotto, really, but instead of Parmesan, I'm going to use mascarpone and pecorino. So, a little bit of mascarpone. I like that because of the creaminess. And then go add some of this. This is pecorino. It's like Parmesan, a little bit more salty. And you can also get this from the supermarket. It's just a different type of cheese. You'll often find this on pizzas as well, but it is wonderful. You mix this together like that. So I'm just going to finish this risotto now with a little bit of Jersey butter. Just in there, just to enrich it. Stir that in. Perfect. And then I'm just going to simply plate this. I often find when you serve anything with squid ink, people not knowing, they just look in horror on their faces, but it's not until you taste it, when you get it like this, the taste of it, oh, it's incredible. And then just grab your bits of squid, like that. And then I had to put these on as well, these beautiful little Jersey pearls. Just look at these little fellas. Now, normally at home I would finish this off with a little drizzle of oil, but not in Jersey. You get a little bit of Jersey butter. So there you have it, not the stereotypical thing you do with Jersey rolls, but one that tastes amazing. Cheers. Delicious squid and Jersey royal risotto, and not a grain of rice in sight. It's a brilliant part of the world, is Jersey. Right, still to come, I've got dishes all the way from chefs James Cochran, and the brilliant Dipna Anand is here. But after the break, I'll be treating Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson to a Thai green curry sauce with pan-fried line-caught sea bass. It's a special dish for special people. Enjoy this. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, coming up, we've got a masterclass in celeriac, and Dipna Anand and James Cochran will be in the kitchen very shortly. But first, I'm here with a pair of showbiz superstars who are appearing together on stage in the remake of a classic ITV show. It's Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson. What a pair!
Cheers!
What a pair!
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Start early.
Exactly, start you early as well. So I thought we're going to do two dishes for you as well. We're going to do a little bread and butter pudding later on, all linked into your appearance on a certain cookery show before.
Yes.
So we're going to do a lovely little bit of sea bass dish with a nice Thai curry. Because didn't you used to own a restaurant, didn't you?
I did. How did you? Yes, you
Well, I do my research, you see.
Wow,
It's all in my head.
She never told me that.
I did.
Never
in
invited me.
Richmond, in Surrey, yes.
It was a Thai restaurant, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
See, okay.
And I love Thai food.
You had it for 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
didn't lose any money. I know, exactly, I know it all.
Well, you don't know
You can do
anything else
worse to
about
mine.
me.
Oh, exactly. I know quite a bit about you that I can't mention at this time in the morning. I know that. I'm sure you know a lot more as well. Exactly. We can compare notes later then, can we?
Trade stories.
Yeah, so we've got a nice little bit of sea bass. It's beautiful line-caught sea bass from Cornwall, and we're going to slice this. So we just cut these wedges out, but this is line-caught. It's absolutely beautiful.
So how many lines in there?
About four or five. The smaller one that you get is usually farmed, and it's usually from Greece. You know the ones in the supermarket?
Yeah.
Small bass, that comes from Greece, but they're small bass. But we're just going to take a nice little bit of our sea bass, like that. I'm going to season this. So when I'm going to season it, I season it with table salt, as opposed to sea salt.
Why is that?
Because it tastes better. Well, also, it's going to fall off as well.
Yeah.
Black pepper, but you only season the underside because I don't want the presentation side to be wrecked. So I'm just going to leave that to one side like that, and that'll quite sit there, absorbing all those nice things. We're going to do a little Thai curry. Now, before I get on and talk about the musical as well, you guys have worked together for, dare I say 40 years?
40 years ago,
40 years.
This year, we first met on the Russ Abbott Madhouse. It was a great training for acting, really, wasn't it? Because it was like being part of a rep company.
Yeah, because
you know,
we had to like, we'd be on the floor doing a sketch, and we'd have to run off, rip our wigs off, rip our clothes off, put another wig on, and be somebody else immediately.
It was quite intense,
Oh,
wasn't it?
very intense, yeah. But, you know, you're talking about 20-odd million it got every Saturday night.
Yeah.
23.
And so many people came through it, like Bella Emberg, Jeffrey Holland, Michael Barrymore, and of course that's where I met Dustin G, and we formed the double act out of that
you
show.
went on for many years afterwards doing that as well. Yeah. So where was your love of stage then? Because acting was your love, but when you speak, you either want to be a stage actor, you went onto television.
She's a proper stage actor.
But they morphed together. You both more or less done the same amount of time of stage and screen, haven't you, really?
Well,
This is quite unusual.
I've been on stage since I was 4, which is 104 years ago.
What got you on stage at 4 years old?
My mother.
Really?
My mother was a proper theatrical mum. But the saddest thing all is, because all I remember of my first appearance was that I needed a wee. And I went on stage, and my mum said, Oh, for goodness sake, just hold it in, hold it in.
Dr. Stage.
Yes, on the stage, got on and weed all over the stage. I won't do it. I won't show you how I did it today.
It went down so well, you kept it in the act.
So that's all. Sadly, what I remember is weeing on stage, but it's not a good look.
But as a young kid, that would put a lot of young kids off and go, never, ever again. I mean, you...
Didn't put me off.
Because that's exactly what you wanted to do with them, was it?
Exactly what... And that's all I knew, though. I didn't know anything else because my mother didn't really believe in school. You know, not for me, anyway. So on a Saturday, I'd go and be dressed out in tulle and sequins for the next show. And she'd go, oh, never mind about school, we can't do that now.
So I get the feeling with both of your careers, you mentioned the challenges, that's the bit that's kept you going,
I think we come from a time as well when, you know, there were lots of different things you could do.
Yeah.
It's very different now, you know, and once you've done a soap, that's what people think of you as. But then you could do... There were lots of things in the year. There'd be films, there'd be sitcoms, endless sitcoms, endless dramas. And so you would go from one to another. I think we're just lucky from the period we came from.
Which leads me on to what you're doing now, then. Tell us about what you're doing now, because this seems like a bundle of fun, what you're doing now.
Oh, it's great. It's based on the TV show that Kay Mellor wrote. James Corden and Ruth Jones were in. Fat Friends, you know, which was a great... I think that's where they met, and then went on to Gavin and Stacey. So it's a musical based on that show, and
very funny,
really funny,
great music,
great songs,
and I play such a cow. She is such a cow, and I love it. She's so evil.
Right.
She just is, because it's all about love who you are, and it's about this young girl called Kelly, and she is the size she is, but then she sees a wedding dress that she can't get into. And this woman owns this super slimmers club, but she just makes money out of people, you know. She'll think, I'll exploit her, and she does, online and everything, and she gets terrible trolls, but she doesn't care. She just wants the money. Oh, it's so...
And I'm the dad. I'm Fergus, the girl's dad, and I have a fish and chip shop in Headingley called Big and Battered. So, and I have a song called Big and Battered because his fish and chip shop is dying because people are wanting to diet. So he's not very happy.
No,
he's a nice
very funny and very uplifting, which is what we all need right now.
Just at that moment, Sam, you mentioned diet. I'm just about to put some butter in here as well. But
yes,
it wouldn't be a James Martin recipe without some butter, would it?
This is how to cook fish, and I wanted to show you this because I saw you looking in the pan.
Yeah.
So this is the sea bass in. You press it until it stops it from curling up.
Yeah.
Right.
This is just cooked in a little bit of veg oil, so not olive oil.
Okay.
It's a little bit of veg oil.
That's only been a couple of minutes, hasn't it?
Yeah, and you can see it halfway, cooking up halfway at the side. Then you turn it over.
Yeah.
Like that. And we just turn it over carefully.
So we should never flip backwards
Never,
and forwards.
ever. Once you turn it over now, that's it.
That's it.
And then the most important bit now is this bit.
Right.
So this bit now, you put the butter in it.
Just a little.
And then you take foaming butter, turn the pan up. Now, you probably know... I didn't even put the sauce on for the curry sauce yet. Because I'm a great believer that Thai curry sauce should be really, really fresh.
Fresh, yeah.
So almost last minute. You just warm it up and poof, then done. You take the foaming butter, and this is the crucial bit. You go over the top with the foaming butter. This is the way you've got to finish the fish, over the top with the foaming butter, you see?
Yeah.
You finish this off and you get the beautiful colour on it. It goes nut brown, and then you leave it to one side.
And what's in the...
So this, I've got galangal, I've got garlic, I've got lemongrass, that kind of stuff. And now I'm just going to serve this on a bed of different sort of veg, but I'm just going to take a little bit of butter. And then, again, the sauce is last minute, but we're going to take a little bit of... I've got some ginger over here and some leeks. Yeah. And I'm just going to fry these off, just sit those on a little bed of those to go with it as well. So that's going to sit on the bed of this. The fish, you just leave it to rest. So treat this like a piece of meat, you just leave it to rest.
Right.
So this bit... I've got the ginger. You see, when you did MasterChef, you see, you should have spent a week here.
Oh,
yeah.
We could have won. I mean, where did you come in?
I came joint runner-up.
Right.
Yeah, myself and Janet Street Porter were runners-up to Aid Edmondson.
Right.
But he had his own cookery show on telly.
Well, that's going to say to you.
Exactly.
Why doesn't anybody phone up a chef and go, I'll work in a restaurant for a week?
Yeah, maybe next time. I'm on...
What about you? What was the dish that got you out?
It was what do you call it now? I forgot what it's called. What's it?
Caesar salad.
Caesar salad. See, that's how interested I was in a Caesar salad. but the point is, what they said was, what you don't realise is that the sauce is very difficult on a Caesar salad to get right.
No, sauce is easy. They're telling a load of porky pies.
Well, they did, I know.
What did you do? What sauce did you do? Do you remember?
No, I know it was white.
So that's your nice little bit of veg that we're just going to leave that sat there. Right. So that's your veg, that's the sea bass.
Fabulous.
And then we turn our attention to the sauce. We're just going to add this all together, which all goes in together. And you almost put this in with the coconut milk, the lime, and it's almost really last minute, really. We take a little bit of oil, start to fry this off.
What's the difference between a green Thai curry and a red Thai curry, apart from the colour?
Colour chilies, predominantly.
All right, so the red is hotter, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends what you finish it off with, really, but yeah, predominantly, yeah.
Right, OK. So I like them both, you see, so
I've never had it with sea bass.
No, I've never had it with sea bass, no.
Well, this is what I love about this is so fresh, but what you don't want to do is, I don't think, is overcook this sauce. I think with all the nice flavours that you've got in there, I think you can destroy it. If you just rapidly boil this and boil it for too long, you lose the flavour, the coriander, the mint, and all the nice sort of veg that goes with it, and you lose the colour predominantly. So we're just going to warm this through. Then I'm going to flavour this. So the seasoning side of it, instead of putting salt and pepper in, you put Thai fish sauce.
Ah.
Oh, right,
okay. So this is the seasoning predominantly. So this becomes your salt and pepper.
That salts it up.
So you've got a little bit of Thai fish sauce, and then you've got lime juice and zest.
Love lime juice.
That goes into it as well. So that goes in as well, like that. So you must have seen, I mean, amazing stuff. We go back to the 80s and stuff like that, and the days of Russ Abbott and stuff like that. I mean, that was an incredible time.
It was an incredible
time for television, don't you?
Yeah, and we used to do those live variety shows as well, like Live from Her Majesty's and Live from the Palladium. They were so exciting to go out there and do your 7 minutes in front of a live audience and work with. I worked with Tommy Cooper and amazing people. You know, just those people who we talk about now, but we don't see the likes of anymore. Those Ken Dodd and...
we did a Benny Dorm sketch on Her Majesty's on the variety show, and nobody knew we were going. They said, well, we won't tell anybody. We went, oh, my God, the audience won't know who we are. They went... So we walked on, and the audience went, wow! And it made me so emotional, and then we directed everything to Will's and his wife, and everything was like... we came off and felt that we hadn't been on. It was so magical.
Well, it became iconic. You know, Benidorm became as iconic as... it was an iconic period of time, wasn't it, really?
Oh, yeah. 10 years of it, though, you see, so it's a long, long time.
Oh, so, look, we're just going to take our nice little bit of fish.
Yeah.
And we're going to... The key to this is the simplicity. So you've got the Thai curry. Right. You've got the nice little bit of fish. And then what we do is we take fresh coconut and just peel a little bit of fresh coconut. Just take a few peelings of this.
Love like coconut.
And we just put a few bits of fresh
You don't
coconut.
need the rice, because that is just...
Don't need any of that. It's just the fresh flavours. A beautiful line-caught Cornish sea bass.
Yeah, you need to taste that.
Nice little bit of Thai green curry sauce.
Beautiful.
And a lovely bit of fresh coconut with it as well.
Wow,
beautiful.
that's
fantastic.
Fantastic.
There we go.
Wow.
Bon appetit.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you.
Tell me what you think. It should be lovely and fresh. The fish should be... And the great thing about that, when you do that, you can eat the skin of the fish as well, because it's crisp.
I always do.
It's crisp. It's beautiful, but should hopefully taste really nice.
Oh.
But you see the freshness you get with that Thai.
Oh.
If you don't overcook it, you get this, this mega flavour from it.
Oh, I don't think I've tasted a Thai green curry like this.
That is lovely.
If you leave it for too long, it's everything just flattens. I just think it just
Right.
gets so much
Just
flavour
leaves
in there
straight
with
away.
lime and everything else. But
Oh, my God,
there you have
James.
it. That's a good start. There we have it. Right,
Yeah.
I'll be cooking one of Leslie's favourite dishes later on the show, a bread and butter pudding, whiskey in it as well. And Chef James Cochran will be making his first visit to the house very shortly. But join me after the break when a good friend of the show, Dipna Anand, will be firing up the stoves. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, this week's masterclass is all about celeriac, and I'll be doing about 3 dishes for that one. But first, I'm here with a chef whose family restaurant has been a blazing trail of Indian food in the country and in London since the 1970s. There's a brilliant regular on the show, more regular than me, Dipna Anand. There's big love for you in this house.
There is.
It's because you bring so much food with you.
And you absolutely love it.
And you as well. Yeah, bundle of joy. So what are you going to be doing?
So I am going to be cooking up a lamb cutlet pilau. This is a traditional recipe my grandfather used to cook, a lamb pilau, but I have just tweaked it a little bit and made it using cutlets. This is something I did in the lockdown, and it worked amazingly. Dad approved.
Dad approved?
Dad approved,
Okay.
and it is delicious. The beauty of this dish is that it's a one-pot dish, so you can make everything in one pot, and then I pair it with really tasty garlic raita.
OK, off you go. Now, your dad's normally here. He's actually in the car wheeling and dealing, or doing that, or the horse racing's going on, one of the two.
Yeah.
But
You've
he's-
left him in the car again.
You've left him in the car this time.
Because last time I got the blame for leaving him in the car, so I just want to clarify that is not me, that is James.
That's not me at all. It's not-
No, he chooses to stay in the car. He gets his lovely cup of tea and he is happy. So ghee is almost melted. I'm going to go in with my just sliced onions. It's about half an onion, just sliced. Just get the heat up a little bit on this. I know your stove misbehaves sometimes.
If you fire it on a 9, look.
No.
You just put it on 9.
I'm not good. I remember the set. I remember last time. I remember what happened.
No, you just put it on 9 and then see what happens.
No
and then
way.
you can turn it down, because it takes it...
You're tricking me again. I remember what happened last time. No, I'm not doing that. Right, onions.
Yeah.
They don't need to be, like when you're making a curry, you caramelise your onions. For a pilau, you just want a little bit of colour. So I'm going to go in with my whole spices. Okay. This just to give a nice, earthy, warm flavour. So some cloves. Going in with some cumin seeds.
So I mentioned your restaurant's a family-run restaurant. Your dad, your brother, you. Tell me about your mother.
My mum is the most super cook in my life, but don't tell Dad.
She's the main cook of that.
She is.
Yeah.
I mean, like with my dad, I can get away with anything. I can get away with anything I say
I've
to him.
seen it. Flutter the eyes. Your dad's there. I've seen it. Just outside.
He is so patient with me. He never says anything to me. But Mum, you do not want to get on the wrong side of Mum. Like, we are petrified of Mum.
Because you already got on the wrong side of her recently, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because your dad has just told me about this food truck. Tell us the story about the food truck. Because you wanted a food truck.
Yes, we're working with a company, in collaboration with a company, and we are doing a food truck or a food trailer. So my brother managed to find this food trailer.
What's that you put in there? Garlic?
I've added ginger and garlic just after my whole spices. And it was cardamom, cumin, coriander seeds. But yeah, going back to this truck or this trailer. So my brother got it brought to the house because the company said, oh, you can just keep it somewhere safe. So my brother said, yeah, put it on the drive, it'll be absolutely fine. Until it came, and it was this huge thing, and we got a call from Mum saying, what on earth is that on my drive? Get that thing away from here now. So she wasn't happy at all.
Either you go or the truck goes.
Yeah, she
or
said...
both of you go.
Well, yeah, that's the situation at the moment. If that is not moved in the next few days, then one of us, well, me and Dad, are not going to be living there anymore.
You're going to be living in the truck.
Well, yeah.
No, it's definitely going to be gone. So what have you put in there now? Lamb.
So I've added my lamb cutlets. Now, you don't have to... You can do this dish with chicken if you want, but lamb works really well with the whole spices because you've got, like, the black cardamom, giving that nice smoky flavour. But lamb, even lamb, just diced lamb is perfect, but the lamb cutlets cook so well and they're really nice and tender.
So before I get on to about the new place that you've got, tell us about the restaurant then. Tell us about your dad's restaurant, because it is pretty special.
Yeah. So the restaurant is very much family run. Me, my brother and my dad. everyone keeps saying you're taking it to another level, as you call it. But it's been very busy. We have a banqueting suite. My cookery school is
What's the name of it?
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Yeah, quite daring, right? Quite a daring name for a restaurant, because you have to be, with a restaurant named Brilliant, there's a lot of pressure because you have to make sure you're nothing less than brilliant. Okay, I'm going in with my water.
Yeah.
And that just calms the whole mixture. See, James, this heat is perfect. Had I listened to you, there would have been trouble again. That heat is perfect.
Okay.
That's not 9.
It's all right.
That's 4. Okay, I'm just going to bring this up to a boil now.
I'm so going to get a foot pedal for this next time you're in.
No, don't do that.
I am.
Do not set me up.
I haven't said you make a perfectly good hash of it before. You didn't need me.
That wasn't me.
That burning the tea towel?
It was left here. I didn't put it there.
Well, I didn't put it there. I'm sat over here.
Someone put it there.
Okay.
What about that pan? Oh, it looked a bit like that.
Yeah. Oh, that was my very expensive pan that my late grandmother gave me. That you can't actually get another one.
That still gives me nightmares.
That
do you
one.
know that?
It gave me a nightmare. I ended up cleaning it for 4 weeks. Still not clean.
So basmati rice has gone in. Change the subject. That wasn't me. I didn't do any of that. Basmati rice has gone in.
Yeah.
When you cook basmati rice, first of all, basmati means the queen of fragrance. So when you cook with this rice, I say this to everyone, it's all about time and temperature. So you just want to ensure that the temperature is perfect. Your water will dry out. And as soon as it does that, you've got to work quite fast, because what you're going to do is get your fried onions and sprinkle over. This is just a finishing touch to my pilau. A lot of people ask as well, what's the difference between a biryani and a pilau? So a biryani you usually layer with your chicken curry separate and then your rice. But with a pilau, everything is cooked inside one pot. So I've got some fresh mint going on top there. My water's condensed really well now, so I've got to move a bit fast. And some coriander.
Yeah.
Just on top like this, oopsie. Alrighty. And also, not forgetting your favourite and Dad's favourite. Just a few knobs of butter. Butter. I got told off last...
Butter.
Right,
I get told off occasionally calling it butter. It's butter.
It is butter, though.
Butter.
I mean...
Butter.
I live in Southall, it's butter.
Butter.
Yeah. Right. And now, all I'm doing is putting my foil right inside and just now switching off the heat completely. No heat on this.
Right.
Put the lid on. Don't even touch this. Don't even attempt to keep.
Okay.
It just needs to stay.
Okay.
And it will cook.
Sounds good. All right.
So here is one that I've already done.
Okay. So you don't. The oven's not on. You just leave it.
No, I just left it in the oven just to kind of. Okay. It's not on. I just want a nice hot place, okay. And it's not on because I'm closing it, so you know it's.
Okay.
So here we go. This is 25 minutes later. 25 minutes later.
Okay.
All right, let's open this up. Now, this is my special spoon.
Special spoon?
This is my special lucky spoon. Okay, right. This is the beauty of cooking a one-pot lamb cutlet pilau. Everything in one pot, and the rice, when you open it, I keep calling it like a bed, it's sleeping. And now we need to open it up and fluff it. But James, look at this. Look
I'm looking at it.
Fluffy.
I'm quite hungry, to be honest with you. I'm sick of looking at it, to be honest with you.
Right, here we go. We're plating up. No pressure. Right. Garlic raita, which I'm just going to do like this. Get it into my bowl. But you can even pair this with just a plain yogurt as well, or add cucumber to your raita or tomato.
Yeah.
Some people add potato. One of my students once actually added grated apple to the raita, and it was so delicious. So yeah, you can. Yeah. Okay, right. Let's plate this up.
Looks pretty good to me.
And the good thing is the rice grains have stayed separate.
So you do the same thing with chicken thighs then, I take it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you can do thighs or you can do chicken breast.
Okay.
A pilau. In terms of like when you're doing a chicken, you would still have your whole spices. Maybe not the black cardamom because that works particularly well with the with lamb. And one more. And then all you want to do is garnish. So I've got some more crispy onions. Got some coriander here. And a little bit of fresh mint on the top too.
Happy with that?
And there you have it.
So give it the name of this dish then?
It's a one-pot lamb cutlet pilau served with garlic raita.
Brilliant. Right, I'm looking forward to tasting this then. Go on then. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. So you just take a little bit of this and you mix it in the rice?
So you take a little bit of raita, then take a little bit of rice and have it together, or the other way around, yeah.
It's delicious, isn't it?
And then, yeah, that's it. Just tug off the cutlet.
There you go.
That's a proper Indian way. So simple as well to cook.
It tastes absolutely delicious.
You like it then?
Do you know, I've loved all your food when you come on. It's been absolutely fantastic. Dipna, Anand, everybody. You're an absolute star, you know that. Right, Chef James Cochran will be sharing a recipe of his own, and I'll be laying on lunch for Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson a little bit later. But after the break, I'll be in the kitchen with Karen Gibson from the Kingdom Choir. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson will be chatting some more to a little bit later. We've got a dish on the way from Chef James Cochran very shortly. But first, this lady was on the show on Christmas Day with the Kingdom Choir. They were so amazing. I thought it'd be good to have her back and treat her to lunch. It's the fabulous Karen Gibson. First of all, thank you so much for what you did on Christmas Day.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. It's lovely.
mean, we met, there was this car fest and pub in the park. There's all manner of things going on. There's bands coming and going, and we're on stage in our band and bits and pieces. And then all of a sudden you hear this angelic noise which top trumps everybody. And then you and your crew come out.
That's right.
It's, I mean, the sound that you guys get.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's amazing.
We try our best.
So I'm going to cook for you at the same time. We're going to get on to how it all started.
Yes.
So I'm going to do you a sort of buttered chicken curry, but we're going to spatchcock it and do a little pilau rice ready with it. So the sauce, for instance, we've got caramelised onions in here. Yeah. Do you like your food spicy?
I do. I grew up in a Caribbean household, so spices, no stranger.
So that's fine. A little bit of chilli then. I can put a little bit of chilli in there as well.
Not too much, though.
Not too much. Yeah. So then the whole lot is then cooked, and then we're going to sort of cover it over this sort of cooked chicken, which I'll get onto in a minute. But first of all, how did it all start then? Where did the idea for the choir come from?
Not from me, really, but you know, I grew up in a church, a Pentecostal church. There's music all around, and so you fall into singing. And I became part of a London-wide choir. And one day we got a call from Songs of Praise, and they said, "We've heard your choir. We like your choir. Would you like to come and sing for our 35th birthday?" So it's quite a while ago. Yeah. And I said, "Yes, that'd be lovely." And they said, "Great. What's your name?" I said, "We don't have a name." And so the woman said to me, "Well, you better get a name by tomorrow." So when I went to sleep that night, I dreamt of the name, the Kingdom Choir. I dreamt of the name. I didn't like it, didn't understand it, didn't know what it meant, but it's the only thing I could think of. So when she called back the next day, as she said she would, And she said, well, so what's your name? I said, the Kingdom Choir. And, yeah, it kind of stuck. I think it's working out, actually.
It's doing all right, isn't it?
It's
really?
doing OK, yeah.
But how many... So it started off with how many people in the choir, and it's gone to how many?
All right, so...
How many do you need, first of all, to do what you do?
That's a very good question. So we can go pretty small, but I like to start, you know, just with 8. 8 is the minimum number, I think,
right.
that I like. But there's 39 in the choir. So, but we hardly ever go out at, you know, full strength. We love it when we do. It's great fun.
Right.
So we go out in numbers of 8, 16, 20, 25. So when we first started, it was about 25 people in the choir. After the event of 3.5 years ago.
Well, tell everybody about the event, because before that, what's quite fascinating is you got this phone call.
Yeah.
Weren't you on the bus?
Oh, I think I was on the 87 bus.
The 87 bus.
87 bus, yeah. And a voice on the other end of the phone says, we'd like to invite you and the Kingdom Choir to sing at the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And I said, you're joking, right? And,
please tell me you're on speakerphone on the
bus. No. And the voice went silent, and that's when I realised that this woman was completely serious. She was the deputy head of communications for Prince Charles.
Yeah.
And so that's who gave us the invite. And, yeah, it was a pretty special time.
And then did you just go, this is how long you've got, and what do you... I suppose you have to ask what they want you to sing?
Yeah, that came kind of later, but I was first told that I couldn't tell anybody, not even the members of the choir.
Really?
So then what I had to do was ring round the members of the choir and say, what are you doing on this date?
Yeah.
Make sure you're free on this date. And when they were questioning me, I'd say, just Google it. Google the date. Yeah. Because I wasn't allowed to say. Yeah. So I could eventually. But then I got involved with the royal wedding planner.
Yeah.
And then we discussed the songs. And it was over a period of time that we got to what we're going to sing. And so it was... I was praying on the day, I just hope this is going to be all right. I hope it's going to work out. And, yeah, I think people liked it.
But say that put you on the stage as well, really. But we're just going to recap. We've got the sauce cooking away here. We've got cream. We've got butter. Yeah, this is your chicken that...
What's that? Oh,
that's the marinade. I put into the yoghurt and spices over the top, and we just put the yoghurt and spices over the top. You know, you can leave it in the fridge overnight as well. You can just bake it as it is. And the reason why I've spatchcocked it speeds up the cooking time.
But how long do you have to marinate that?
This, you don't even have to marinate. You can put it straight in the oven like this. And then what happens is when you roast it, this is what you end up with.
Right, lovely. I need to do this.
You need to do this.
It looks simple enough for even me.
Well, do you know what? I was going to pop that in the oven. I will leave that there for you, and you can take that home.
Yes, please.
All right. I'll put it in a bag for you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Don't know if there's enough there to feed the entire choir.
Can I just... No, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
Can I just smell it? Can I just...
So that's just the yoghurt and bits and pieces in there.
Okay.
But I'll put that in a bag for you to take home. The pilau rice that we've got in here, we've got the rice you soak. I've got some onions over here. We've got some spices, bits and pieces over here. You wash the basmati rice, and then there is a sieve here. There we go. Drain that through a sieve. Get rid of that, and then you just put the rice into the pan.
There's the caramelised onions
Caramelised onions in there.
No water. No water.
No water's going to go in there now. So
okay.
Water in there just to cover.
And you were soaking the rice.
I just soak the rice. Just for about 20 minutes. Okay. Like, you just need to soak the rice. Yeah. And then bring this to the boil and gently simmer this, and we cover that over with a lid.
Yeah.
Leave that just to sit there, and that's going to be the pilau rice to go with it. I'm going to finish off this sauce as well with it.
Okay.
But you mentioned obviously the royal wedding, but also when you listen to it, and I was listening when we were rehearsing for the Christmas bit and the church just over the way there, and when I was listening to you and the way you were listening to you have a unique ability, and this is I don't know whether it can be taught or whatever. Listen to individual voices within a big group, and you go, no, stop, up a little bit, no. It's quite. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that. You're
conducting it as well.
Yeah, so that's your oral training. So when you grow up in church, you learn music by ear, and then you learn what works, what doesn't work, and you have to also know the voices of your choir and their abilities. So you're able to direct on the spot in the moment. So it's about directing them as an orchestra, if you like. Does that make sense?
Well, do you know what? It does make sense now you've said that, but when you're listening to it as a group, it's quite fascinating that all of a sudden you think, well, that sounded all right. It sounded all right to me. And then when you do it again and you're doing the listening to what you want it to be, it just comes alive, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And I think it's attention to detail. It's the little things that make all the difference. And everybody just wants to sing, don't they? But there's a difference between just singing and what I like to think of as excellence.
So what makes a gospel choir different to a standard church choir? I mean, there's more. I don't want to be daft, but my granddad used to sing for York Minster. He was the tenor, the big, loud, punchy voice at the end of it. And when he sang at a funeral, everybody else just shut up. It was just because you couldn't compete against that. It was an amazing voice. I always remember when my granddad was alive, just the noise used to come out of his mouth. It was just this amazing. But there is a massive, massive difference.
Yeah, and I think the sound comes from the history of the music and where that music's coming from.
So where does it come from then? Because I went to see gospel choirs in New York.
Yes.
And around New York, they were incredible. I remember going to one, I can't remember where it was, but there was thousands of people in this room, and all of a sudden this just room erupted.
Yeah. It comes from your emotions, it comes from history, it comes from... So the consensus is that gospel music came from the southern states of America and the experience of slavery. So I always will teach people that actually that sound, that mourning sound, that sobbing sound, a lot of it comes from pain, a lot of it comes from trauma. And if we add the faith element, the faith, the element of praise and the element of joy, the element of inspiration, then that makes for a big inspirational sound. And it's a big inspirational sound because there's a message in it, and so you want to share the message.
So obviously this year is going to bring you new things. You've got a new album. Tell us about the new album.
Yeah, well, it's actually an EP. It's actually a Christmas EP. So we've got 4 traditional songs on there, carols actually, 4 traditional carols done with a Kingdom Choir twist.
Right.
And then we've got 1 song which is an original, and that's called Together Again. And that's really talking about, what we've been through for the past year, how Christmas was cancelled last year and we couldn't be together. So the song is called Together Again, and it's about how actually together is where we always wanted to be, and that's what really matters to us.
And anybody that wants to see you out and about, you're appearing throughout the year, We will be appearing throughout the year, and there's more new music coming. So I must see you at Pub in the Park and bits and pieces like that.
I'm hoping we're back there. We've been told that we're going back there, so yeah.
I've been told that you're going back there, so you definitely are going back there.
All right, you know more than me then.
Yeah. So. But we've got our nice little sort of... This is our buttered chicken sauce that goes over the top. So, I mean, the thing about this is you can put the chicken, you can chop it all up, you can put it back into the sauce as well.
Yeah.
But we just pile this over the top of there, and just... I mean, this is a nice little bit of pilaf rice on the side.
And how long did you cook the chicken?
That's cooked in there for about 45 minutes.
Okay.
As I say, conventional roast chicken would take about an hour and 10 minutes, something like that. Yeah. And we just...
Very nice. I love coriander.
Put some coriander over the top.
Yeah.
And there you have it.
Thank you.
My buttered chicken curry, spatchcock buttered chicken curry. A little bit of chilli in there with a nice little butter sauce over the top.
Nice.
Bon appetit.
Yeah, thank you.
This is it. So I'm just going to serve with a little bit of lemon on the side and then take some green chilli. Because green chilli, raw green chilli, last minute. Oh, love it.
Really?
But yeah. Just...
Is it very hot?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit.
Oh.
You said you like spicy food.
I did. I said not too spicy.
Yeah, but you just put a little bit.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
A little bit of green chilli on the top, but there you go.
Nice. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. This is my house, so that's how you eat it in my house.
Really?
I'm going to take this one away for you because I'm going to pop this in a bag for you to take home. But
yes, please. Thank you.
What do you think? You take a nice chunk of the chicken. We've got sauce to go with it, but
I think I might need a bib. I think I might need.
Like this.
Do you know the amount of years I've dreamed of something like this?
Yeah.
Now here we are.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure having you in the house.
Is everybody going to watch me eat?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, lovely. Very nice.
Happy with that?
Have some more.
You can have them, man. Yeah, exactly. There's second course here if you want it as well. There you go. I'll leave you in peace. There you go.
Thank you.
Right, thanks for coming here. Karen Gibson, everybody. Still to come, Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson will be here. But after the break, we've got a masterclass in celeriac that you don't want to miss. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now I'll be treating Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson to my white chocolate and croissant butter pudding flavoured with a bit of whiskey very shortly. But first, it's time for this week's little masterclass. And this week's masterclass is all about, to be honest, one of my favourite vegetables. It's celeriac. This stuff is amazing. It descends from the sort of the wild celery family, really. And actually, funny enough, when you see it grow, you think you're actually growing celery in your garden because at the top of this is celery-like stalks. Comes up to about this sort of size. If you look at it as a veg, it's actually one of the oldest veg in recorded history. It's an amazing vegetable. The flavour is very similar to celery, but not celery. It's a beautiful, beautiful veg. The variety and dishes that you can do from it are incredible. And I'm going to show you probably about 3 or 4 different ways to use it, really. So the first thing I'm going to do is a simple, simple little soup. Now, I've done soups before on the show, but not really with these flavours. So I've got some milk in here, full fat milk. The celeriac, what I've done is just peel this and dice it. You can peel it and thinly slice it. It's entirely up to you. Try and avoid doing it in big chunks because it just takes longer to cook. So once it's been diced like that, we'll pop the celeriac in there. So bring this to the boil. Now, the flavourings into this are quite unusual with this. I'm going to actually do vanilla and curry powder together. And particularly vanilla with this works brilliantly. But we take a little bit of mild curry powder in here. And then the vanilla itself. You can actually use vanilla bean paste if you wanted to, but I've just got a vanilla bean over here. I'm going to split that vanilla and take out some of the seeds. Now, we're not making a creme anglaise, so we don't put the entire thing in. You just want a little bit of vanilla. And that's going to warm through and infuse when we cook our celeriac at the same time. Another thing that tastes amazing is salt baking it as well, which is one of my favourite ways to do celeriac. So the best way to do this, there's 2 ways to do salt baking. One of which is egg whites, which is whipped together with a little bit of salt. Usually table salt. You can do it with sea salt, but table salt's really the key to it because you're going to throw away the outer casing. That's predominantly used for fish, but you can take that process and use it for veg as well. The classic way to do celeriac is this. You make a pastry, and to do that, you take equal quantities of flour and salt. So, table salt for this one. And then we mix together that with water. And what we're creating, really, is a simple little dough. Now, we mix this together. I always mix it by hand rather than a machine, because I can tell the texture of it. But you don't have to mix it until you can roll it out. You can make it slightly wetter if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you. But what we're looking for is that sort of texture. Now, you can roll it out, like I was saying. It's up to you. You can roll it out and fold it all over. There's chefs that roll it all out and do pretty patterns with it and bits and pieces. But in essence, what you're doing is just taking the vegetables, covering it with this dough, and then baking it and getting rid of the dough afterwards. So, to be honest with you, it's much easier to do that over the top. So this goes over the top like that. As long as you coat it and it's fully coated like that, that's exactly where you want to get to. So I'll just quickly wash my hands. Now, the soup's cooking away nicely. So once you get to this stage, you're then going to roast this in the oven. So exactly it is. You don't need to put any oil on it, nothing. People can put aromats on it. You can put a little bit of thyme on it. if you want to. But you can do that if you want. But I would basically just stick it in the oven, because the idea of this, it's just purely to flavour this veg. Pop it in the oven, about 150, 160, wants to go in there for about an hour, something like that. That's going to go in there. Now, it will colour if the oven's slightly hotter. Soup's cooking away nicely. Now, before we get on to the cooked one, I want to turn our attention to the deep-fried one, which we've got on here. Deep-fried celeriac. What you do with celeriac is you peel it and then thinly slice it. The best way to do that is on a mandolin, get it really, really thin, drop the temperature of the fryer down to about 160, and then pop it straight in the fryer. Now, the reason why we drop the temperature of the fryer down is there's moisture in vegetables. So what you want to do is get rid of that moisture first. And to do that, you drop the temperature of the fryer down so the moisture disappears. That's the steam coming off the fryer now, look. You want that to come away, and you want the crisps to crisp up. So the most important bit is the oil is not too hot. So you just want to roll them around like that. Now, once you're happy and they sit there nicely, which is pretty good, we'll leave those to one side. Our soup's cooking away nicely. Meanwhile, over here, we'll turn our attention back to this celeriac. This is where you need your rolling pin bit, and you give it a whack. Like that. And we open this crust out, and this is what you end up with. Look at this. This celeriac in the centre. This is incredible. It tastes amazing. Now, you can take this and blend it as puree and just do a simple little puree with it. It just tastes unbelievable. A lot of people peel this. I actually love it with the skin on and the whole thing. But you can just take this as slices and just serve this as it is. As a salad with olive oil, stuff like that. For a vegetarian dish, this is incredible. For a vegan dish, this is incredible. So this can be just sliced like that over the top. So that's your simple little celeriac. To serve it, you can just take a touch of olive oil, just a nice little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Now, the great thing about that, because it's cooked in the salt, we don't need to add anything to it. We don't need to add any salt, any pepper, nothing. The flavour is all in that. Now, you can, if you wanted to, just take this vegetable as it is, blend it with vanilla, and you end up with an amazing puree that you can use for fish, like shellfish, scallops, lobster, all those kind of shellfish, mussels, clams. Amazing celeriac puree with this. But I've just got some of these little wasabi flowers that we got in. But just a bit of rocket, anything like that, just makes it look really, really pretty. So that's your one dish. Now we've got our soup over here. I'm just going to take our blender, take our bit of soup, pop that in there. Now remember, this has just got the celeriac and the milk in there. Now what you can do is enrich it with a touch of cream. I was saying, if you were doing this and you wanted to blend this, just this salt baked with a bit of cream would do. I always reserve a little bit of the liquor left over, just in case. Now, the top tip with this, if it's still warm, is not to put the lid centre in, it's to put the cloth on it, but make sure it's turned right down first of all, then blend it. Then I can see that's thick, so we can add the rest of the liquid. Touch more cream now. Get it really smooth. So you can get it nice and smooth. Back in our pan. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful flavour. And then our crisps, we can then shake off the excess. Straight on here. Mix it around. A little bit of table salt rather than sea salt, because obviously sea salt's just going to lump to one of them. Table salt's better. Over the top. That's that one. In there. Got your nice plate. But look at the texture from that. It's beautiful. That's vanilla. It's a bit of curry powder. You get that light hit of curry powder. Don't put too much vanilla in it. You're not making a dessert. Tiny, tiny little bit of that. We've got a touch of cream just to finish this off. This is a bit chefy, this bit, but bear with me. But look, bit of that. I've got this green oil. I just take whatever herbs I've got left in the fridge and blend them, and it produces this green oil, but you can, like that. And then a few bits of these flowers as well over the top. And then this is where you can take the crisps and you can just randomly just put 3 or 4 in there for a nice little bit of texture. But there you have it. So loads of different ways with celeriac. And it is a veg that's been around for years and years and years. Like I said, one of the oldest veg recorded. And it's absolutely delicious. So I urge you, next time you're wandering around your supermarket, don't dismiss it. Get hold of the stuff, try it, because you'll be surprised how amazing it tastes. There you have it. Soup, salt-baked, and crisps. Done. There you have it. Now you know, celeriac. Don't just walk past it. Right, if there's anything you'd like to know and learn about in a little masterclass, I do enjoy doing these. We'll see if we can help out right here on the show. Time now for a quick break now, but join me again in a couple of minutes when it's Chef James Cochran's turn to get cooking. I'll see you in a bit. Keith Floyd's original menu. I love that. Right, welcome back. Now I've got a very special recipe of a white chocolate croissant butter pudding lined up for my guests, Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson shortly. But first, from the kitchens of the Ledbury and the Harwood Arms comes a winner of the Great British Menu who set up shop of his own in North London. It's the brilliant James Cochran.
Yeah! Thank you very much.
Now, James, I've been looking forward to having you at the house for a long, long time because I've heard a lot about this, a lot about yourself.
Thank you.
From the Ledbury as well, because I know Brett. So we're going to get onto that in a little bit a second about your career and stuff like that, because I know you want to tell us what you're going to be doing and you want to get this chicken on. So
Yep, so I'm going to be doing one of the signature dishes at the restaurant. I'll be doing Jamaican jerk buttermilk chicken with my Scotch bonnet jam, corn nuts and coriander.
Now, this in London is a talked about dish then. Where did you get the idea from this from?
So I came from a seaside town called Whitstable.
Yeah.
Wasn't the most diverse area, I could say. So back in the early 90s, my mum used to take me to Brixton's to get ahead on there. Yeah. And I used to get this fried chicken every time, like in a lunch break. And to find out it was like Morley's fried chicken, it was like 4 chicken wings for £1. Yeah. So later down the line, I just remember that first time having that fried chicken and just remembering like how nostalgic it was. So I put it on the menu, put it on the restaurant, sorry. And unfortunately, I'm now known for being a chicken chef. To be honest with you. I mean, everyone comes to the restaurant and I put specials on.
No,
and I put specials on.
You want the chicken?
And I put chicken on, everyone buys it. Everyone goes for it.
So I know you want to get this one cooking.
Yeah, exactly,
We're going to get on and explain what this is in a minute. But
yeah, of course.
We're going to get to the end bit before it goes in the fryer. So
I'm going to not put some gloves on.
That's all right.
Cool. So basically, give us a good coating. This is 2 parts semolina, 1 part tapioca. I think it just gives it a real good crunch and kind of keeps all the moisture in the chicken, as you will see.
Now, tell you about you're brought up at Whitstable, but your family is part from Scotland.
yeah. From Scotland, and my mum was from St Vincent. So a nice little mix and blend. As that kind of showcases on the at the restaurant. So I showcase really kind of a West Indian and Scottish kind of heritage to the menu. I don't kind of mix them both together, so you won't be having like deep fried haggis with like.
Now, when did you want to be a chef? Because you wanted to be a chef quite early on, didn't you? Really?
Yeah. So I knew from the age of like 8 years old I wanted to be a chef. For some weird reason, my parents sent me to a convent. I have no reason why, because I'm not religious in the absolute slightest. Right. And I wasn't really.
Because when your dad wanted to be a lawyer, didn't he?
I wasn't really. We weren't really a religious family, but yeah, my dad wanted.
Why did you end up at a convent then?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know, but yeah, like my dad, kind of, they both came really from like humble beginnings, and I think he wanted to push education onto me, so my dad wanted to be a lawyer, barrister, but in my summer holidays, the old school tradition, Dad would get out of work, Mum would stay at home. I used to cook a lot with my mum. Right. So kind of like upside down pineapple cakes and banana bread and from the age of 8 years old, he wants to be a chef. Okay, now into the fryer.
Yeah. So what's the oil temperature at then? Is that?
It's at 170 degrees.
Right.
And we're going to cook this for around about 4 minutes.
And it's interesting, you can cut the chicken into pieces as well. I'm assuming, you know, obviously longer if you want chunkier bits of chicken. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, if I was doing the whole thigh, I'll probably look around about 6 minutes or so. Yeah. And again, just let it rest for a couple of minutes. Okay, sweet.
So that's the end bit. Now we're going to go back to the beginning bit and see how it's done. But
they're perfect.
Frying away there. So we're going to get to the stage which you've got this bit now. So tell us how we end up with this amazing.
Okay, so
you do realise you're giving the secret away, though, now, don't you?
I know. My business partner's going to be could be on my own now. Exactly. So with chicken, with white meat, and potentially some stuff with braising, I think it's essential to either be curing it or brining it. Okay. So basically, water in the pan.
Yeah.
And then jerk spice in.
Yeah.
And then the salt. And basically bring that to the boil.
Yeah.
Then you need to allow that to cool.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Put it in the fridge for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Bring it back out. And then now the buttermilk. Again, buttermilk is basically sour milk.
Yeah.
Again, there's acid in it. Again, it's going to tenderise the chicken even more. Okay. So ideally, 4 hours. Then we usually leave that for overnight for 24 hours.
I'll let you stick that in there, then.
Okay, cool. So again, jerk spice goes in.
So what's in your spice mix then?
I must make up some spices.
Yeah, what goes in?
So we've got cayenne, black pepper, thyme, pimento, cinnamon, nutmeg, garlic powder,
writing this down,
onion powder. And that's all I can remember, basically.
It's all he's going to tell you, because there's about 4 or 5 missing from that. Yeah, exactly.
So we've got a whisk.
Yeah, there's one in the drawer there.
Right, I can use it. Fine.
Yeah.
So again, just mix that up. And then this chicken here has already been brined. Already.
Okay, that's 4 minutes for you, so 4 minutes on the chicken.
Okay. I've never used a fry before.
Okay. So I'll let you put the chicken in.
Perfect, yep, the chicken in.
Yep, we've got the one on the fry. So tell me about your restaurant then, because your restaurant, where is it?
Upper Street, Islington.
Okay. And where did the name come from? Tell me about the name.
Well, my business partner owned a pub over on Upper Street, and I used to pop up with 4 of my housemates. Yeah. Kind of when the pop-up scene started, and basically, let's say we got very drunk on New Year's Eve.
Right.
And he was like, his pub was like Alabing style food. He was like blown away by my food. And he was like, do you fancy having a restaurant together? And we were pretty drunk. And, next thing I wake up in the morning, we decided to go into business, and 1251 Strokes came on, so we called it 1251. And that's the reason behind the restaurant, or the name of the restaurant.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, well, I'm looking forward to this. So you've got the little bowls over here, so tell me how you serve this in the restaurant.
Perfect. Sweet. So make sure I get some of that Scotch bonnet jam there for you, James.
OK, I'll let you...
OK, perfect.
But like you say, you worked in Michelin-star restaurants, and we worked in some phenomenal places. The Ledbury as well, looking at your career. You know, Brett, amazing chef. But this is the kind of food that people want to eat.
Yeah, exactly. It's comforting, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, of all the stuff I put on the menu, we change the menu monthly.
So what's this? Hold on, what's this you're putting on here? Because this is unbelievable. Go on.
So this is a Scotch bonnet jam that we literally put into production about 2-3 months ago. The next, for a little bit of texture.
Yeah.
A few corn nuts. Make a bit of mess.
Yeah.
And then just for a little bit of fresh and garnish. Bosh. Got to wash my hands.
Do you know what? Usually when I'm sat here, I've got a glass of wine in my hand. I've got a beer ready. This is what this is, a beer, because I know what's about to come. This is phenomenal. So,
sure you've got enough beer for the heat?
Yeah, exactly. So give us the name of this dish then. OK,
so this is my Jamaican jerk buttermilk chicken, Scotch bonnet jam, corn nuts and coriander.
It was worth the wait. James Cochran, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Go on, I'm looking forward to tasting this then. Thank you very much. Thank you. You got a bowl as well.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
And what is this end bit? What you put on here?
Just corn nuts.
Corn nuts?
Yeah, just for a little bit of texture.
All right.
Okay.
Chicken, man.
Well, so you need a bit of beer.
You need the beer.
Yeah,
don't you?
exactly.
That sauce has got a bit of a kick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
It has, hasn't it? I'll tell you what, though. I mean, and interesting enough, I like butter chicken, as you can tell, but this is the best buttermilk chicken I've ever tasted.
Yeah, it's
That's amazing.
so comforting, isn't it?
Come back again?
Would love to.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
James, everybody. It's brilliant, that. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you very
Brilliant.
much.
Really, really enjoyed that. Right, we've still got time for one more final course. After the break, I'll be serving up a show-stopping dessert for Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson. I'll see you in a bit. This is amazing. Welcome back now to the last part of the show. You're wondering what I'm going to do with them. I'll explain in a second. But I'm back in the kitchen with my brilliant guests, the one and only Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson. Right, for my final dish, I thought with these croissants, we're going to do one of my trademark dishes, which was the dish that got you knocked out of MasterChef.
Yeah.
With the bread and butter pudding.
Yeah.
I saw it. To be honest with you, it was a bit ropey. So, a bit like an old game show, this is what you could have won.
This is what I could have won, yeah.
So, this is what we're going to do. So, we're going to do a white chocolate and whiskey croissant butter pudding. So, first of all, you take all butter croissants, all right? And on all butter croissants, you must never use croissants that are made with margarine. And interesting, when you're making croissants, 50% of it is butter.
Right. And you're going to add some more butter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but this has never been off my restaurant menu in 32 years. This one.
Really?
Yeah, so this one over here. So anyway, we chatted earlier about the amazing musical that you're doing. There's going to be people just waking up going, tell us about the musical. So tell us the base of it first of all, because it's a fantastic story. So well written.
Yeah. Well, I told it first time. You tell it now.
Well, it's amazing Kay Mellor, who is one of the best writers, particularly for women. And it's called Fat Friends. It was a television series. It's now in a musical. And it's about sort of loving who you are. That's what it's based on. And it's about a girl who is a big girl who is quite happy as she is, but she wants a wedding dress which is 2 sizes too small, and she buys it. And then this awful woman comes in.
Played by yourself?
Yes, Julia Fleshman, and decides to exploit her really badly, online and everywhere, and
Cruella
for
de
money.
Hewson.
Yeah, Cruella de and she does get her comeuppance in the end, but and then you realise actually loving who you are is what it's all about, and it's so funny, and I'm one of those, evil queens that you just love to hate, and I love. There's something about me that loves that kind of.
So look, we've got our bread and butter pudding. What we do with the sultanas is you take the sultanas and you soak them in whiskey.
Okay.
So you soak them in whiskey overnight. We put the butter over the top, and then we make the custard. So we gradually sort of warm this up. Now, in the custard, I've got some vanilla, and then the key to this is white chocolate. So you take a little bit of white chocolate. And we take a decent amount of white chocolate, and we put that in the custard. So, like that. That goes in here. So, white chocolate. The whiskey's not in there yet, but we infuse the white chocolate and allow it to melt in this custard. Yeah. Now, we're talking about your childhood earlier and the fact that you were on stage at just 4 years old, but your school was quite fascinating. When you went to school, so many famous people.
I went to Quarry Bank, which is where John Lennon had gone and started the Quarrymen with Paul and George, and then later Ringo, and then it became the Beatles. But when I was there, Clive Barker, the horror writer, and I was at school with Steve Coppell, the England and Man United winger. So yeah,
I bet you're at a party at your house. I bet you party. The stories that you have, and one of the stories that I've got to bring up as well. So the key to this custard, by the way, once you melt the chocolate in here and you got the vanilla, this is the most important bit when you're making bread and butter pudding. This would have got you the final. In fact, it won your final.
Right.
Is the egg yolks. So you don't make bread and butter pudding with a stale bread. It's got to be fresh bread because it otherwise absorbs too much of the liquid. But also, what you do want to do with this is you want to use egg yolks in the filling. Because too many eggs, it makes it taste eggy and soufflés up.
Yeah.
Keep the egg whites, because you can keep those. Don't throw those away either. Freeze them. Meringue, 26 quid.
Oh, right.
Always thinking.
Okay, yeah.
Shells, keep these.
Freezing eggs.
Keep the shells.
Feed them to the chickens.
No, round the garden, stops the slugs going on your carrots.
No, does it? Oh, you are clever.
Wow.
There you go. But then we just get.
So how many eggs have you got in there?
So that's 4 eggs, 5 egg yolks. So more egg yolks than whole eggs.
Wow.
Then we take some sugar. Now there's less sugar than a normal bread and butter pudding for obvious reasons that we've got in here. That's going to go in here. And then we mix all this lot together. But when you add the sugar, you need to make sure the sugar goes in last minute, otherwise it starts to burn the egg yolks. And I mentioned the fact of stories. Now, you must have some amazing stories.
Yes.
So give me the ones that we can air. Who have you worked with? Give it.
I'm going through them in my head.
Wasn't there a Kenneth Branagh one? Was that?
No, Kenneth Williams.
Kenneth Williams.
Well, when I left drama school, because I came from Nottingham, my agent decided I should go and live with Joan Sims because then I could be in London, because you have to be in London in those days. And, of course, all the carry-on lot used to come round and there'd be parties. And I remember lots of things that I didn't really understand at that age. But on set...
So innocent.
So innocent, yeah, right.
But on set, I do remember we were in a caravan. It's called, obviously, caravanning. And it was in the back lot of Pinewood. And Joan and I were in there, and Joan wanted to go for a wee. And she said, well, I've got to go for a wee. They were terribly posh, you know, those in them days. And I knew I was going to go for a wee. But in that little...
Are all your stories about wee?
Yes. And in my caravan...
For those people who are just tuning in, there was one story earlier about wees as well.
But there was no loo. They only had Elson loos. You won't know what Elson loos are, but Elson loos smell of bananas, and you have to open them and smell of banana. Anyway, there wasn't one of them. So she said, oh, give me that polystyrene cup. And she pulled her skirt up and took an extent, and went like that underneath to, you know, to have a little wee. And Kenneth Williams walked through the door, and he just went, no tea for me, thank you. Me being so innocent, I still didn't get it.
Right, just going to show you that because we've got one more story I definitely want to hear. This one over here is we got the bread and butter pudding. Now, the key to this is once you pour this over the top, you must leave it for about an hour, hour and a half before you even bake it.
Wow.
Whatever you do, leave it, soaks it all in. There's a little leftover bit of liquid over here. That'll soak all in. You top it all up to this.
It doesn't become too soggy.
No. And then what you do is you cook it very similar to sort of not a creme brulee, but you drop the temperature of the oven down to 150. And you gently cook this for about an hour. So it's gentle cooking of it. Yeah. And then we've got one that we got in here. But when it's just cooked, it's just slightly above earth, so it's quite liquid in the middle. Right. Because that's the egg yolk. So imagine that's gone in, left it for about an hour. This then places in the oven, and we gently...
As long as it doesn't taste the bananas, we're all right.
No, this is... Do you... That's going to leave me mentally scarred for the rest of my life, is that? Together with this other story that I'm hopefully is going to leave me not scarred for life, because this story of... Because when you were in the room over there, she came a little bit earlier than yourself, and she said, Steve McQueen, poster. Steve McQueen's my idol, you know, poster. I've got his motorbike in the room as well. It's my idol, you know. Like most car people, is your idol.
Yeah.
Tell the story. Straight out, she comes with this story. I haven't heard it yet, but straight away...
Well, the thing was, at RADA every year, they used to send over a very big film star, American film star, for us to meet. And they used to do a little talk to us all, which was fascinating. Anyway, at the end of all of this, his people wanted to do like a publicity thing, so he wanted to go on a red London bus. So they went, she'll do, meaning me, because
you can't make this up.
No, this is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I go with him and his people on this red London, but I couldn't speak because it was Steve McQueen. I actually couldn't physically speak. So anyway, at the end of the day, the woman said to me, "We're going to take you for a treat to a restaurant called Poissonnerie, which is in London." And I didn't know poisson was fish. And I'm allergic to seafood. So that was the end of that story. So we get there and we sit on this big high thing and he gives me this big brown long thing to hold, which I now know to be a pepper mill, but I didn't know what it was. So I'm holding this pepper mill and then obviously he must have thought, oh my God, let's get this over with. So he said, do you speak French? I went, no, I'm from Nottingham, I don't speak French. Anyway, it was just ridiculous. I was just being stupid. So it comes, and so he orders it, and then he orders a clam chowder. And I didn't know what a clam chowder was.
You didn't know what a pepper mill was.
I'm still holding the pepper mill. And it was the biggest, longest thing you've ever seen in your life. Anyway, so I'm still holding it. Go like that with a clam chowder twice, and then suddenly felt this thing go...
Oh, no.
And projectile vomited over Steve McQueen. And I thought, he's never going to ask me to marry me now.
Do you know what? That's not the story that I was imagining.
I know. and I'm sorry, because there's food here and everything.
I was much more, it was hoping going to be something like Carry On, but anyway.
But he was fabulous.
I know he's fabulous.
He was fabulous, and I don't think he thought it was very funny.
No, I guess not. Anyway, hopefully you're not going to do that with this. But we've got our bread and butter pudding here. I've got my ice cream. Brilliant, that. Over here, I've got some... Maybe you should have taken this with Steve McQueen. This is a salted caramel anglaise, or custard, that you put in one of these guns, you charge it all up, and then when you squirt it on here... You end up with this salted caramel foam.
That is amazing.
That you have with it. Something a bit of fun. So there you have it, my version
of
my white chocolate and whiskey croissant butter pudding. With a story to tell as well. Bon appetit. There we have it.
Wow.
Oh,
bon appetit.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Tell me what you think of that.
This looks amazing.
Think of that. If you taste everything together, the custard together with the
bit of ice cream, bit of that.
Oh, my God, that is just sensational.
See how it's light as well. It's not too heavy.
It's light, actually,
not too heavy.
Isn't it?
You've got white chocolate, you've got the whiskey. It's just, yeah, it's just... And that's the key to it. Don't overcook it. I mean, I've used these nice eggs, so you get a beautiful yellow, but still the same thing applies. Egg yolks and whole eggs, and it keeps it nice and light, but yeah, it's delicious, that. White chocolate and whiskey. There we have it. That's it. Thanks, of course, to my fabulous guests, Les Dennis and Sherrie Hewson. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Lovely,
really has.
That's
it. That's all we've got time for. I'll see you back here next Saturday at the same time, same place, my house, that is, where I'll be joined by chefs John Hooker, Ravneet Gill, and status quo legend Francis Rossi will be here. Bet you he's got a few stories and all. Until then, take care, stay safe. Thanks for watching, everybody.